Boom.
Nice.
There we go. I was like, it's looking a little off. I'm with my friend Cameron, and we found out during the recording of Let's Talk Toku that I have never seen Big Bad BeetleBorgs. So we decided to watch it.
We watched it.
Yeah.
And
okay, I don't know what I was expecting, but this isn't it.
if you guys aren't familiar with like
I'm not.
BeetleBorgs or most people know, I think that Saban had other shows like in that like post 93 where he was like just snagging every Japanese property he could get and throwing money at it. If Tsuburaya didn't have it, he wanted it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they grabbed was the Metal Heroes. So we had VR Troopers in, I think, was that 94, 95, the VR Troopers? Is that another one you've never seen?
Oh, God. Should we have seen that one first?
And we wondered what happened to the Secret of the Hidden Temple set.
My favorite part of that show was the weird, like, pedophile guys that jump out. Those are actually the producers. And they were just like, I don't like that kid.
Oh,
I want to dress up and scare that kid.
That's too timely.
That new BMX bike and the trip to Jamaica won't cover all the expenses of a therapist.
Junkubi Fighter, completely different setup than any other Metal Hero show. They look completely different. They've all got Beetle themes. They're all heavily color-coded. And it just looks nothing like VR Troopers. So they couldn't justify turning it into a season 3. So they just started from scratch and did a whole new show.
So they said, let's throw in Frankenstein, Dracula. This feels like one of those like point and click games in the 90s.
Yeah.
With like the 3-second transition load buffer times in between each video clip.
Yeah, Mums, Frankenbeans, Fangula. Oh gosh, what are the other ones? Wolfgang, who wasn't in this episode. The statue's name is Ghoulam. And then of course Flabber.
Ready for some fun? Come on, let's go.
That's when one of those little bottom bumpers will come up and says Power Rangers next.
You ever had, when you go to like a Quick Trip or something, you get a drink. When I was a kid, we called them suicides. You mix every soda or every fountain drink together. Mm-hmm. This is like the 90s.
That's what I did for this. I did both the hot and the cold. Waters. Suicide. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same thing, pretty much. Now that I say it out loud, this shows the suicide of the 90s, but it works.
Does it?
Check out the Green Hunter AV. Mega cool.
So you tell me these kids are the Big Bad BeetleBorgs?
Mm-hmm. The very same.
How long did this show go on for?
I'd say I promise it gets better, but...
There's a reason that you and like hundreds and thousands of other like
millions
genuine Toku
poor
fans
souls
don't know what BeetleBorgs is. And I shouldn't know what it came out in 96, 95 and 90, or 96 and 97 to 98. I was born in 95. Like there's no reason I should have such a strong connection to the show, but here I am.
Your flubber is like strange offshoot child.
Oh, don't say that.
These are your Zords. Okay, so like the first episode starts and it's so eerie. It feels like a Goosebumps. It kind of feels like they're ripping off Casper, where like, you have these two little stains. They enter the house, they get spooked by something and then they run out, and then cuts to Bill Pullman. But like it's so like Goosebumps feeling. It's so like a lot of shows that have been out at that time was doing this sort of like. I don't know what the word is for it, but like when you see it, it's like 90s creepy nostalgia almost.
It's not horror. I mean, it's Goosebumps and
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like children's Tales from the Crypt type stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's heavy R.L. Stein.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was with they decided to dive into that. I have yet to find out the reasoning for why BeetleBorgs has the monster horror scary aspect in it. That's lost to the sands of time. Shuki Levy's the only one who probably has a solid answer.
I think it's the closest thing that Universal will ever see the monster cinematic universe coming to fruition.
You didn't like The Mummy?
No. I feel like I've been there. Looks like it's in Culver City behind the Taco Bell. Nope. It's so weird. It's so like, it's not what I was expecting at all going into this, that was the theme, and to have them get their powers by a wish, and to like have, you find out this in episode 2. Episode 1 is just these kids just going like, oh my gosh, is that the mummy? We better hide. Oh, tarantula, no.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, it's...
I'd like this kid. Also, is like she the daughter of the store owner, or is there like some weird like...
Roland's the daughter or the son of the store owner. I don't know how they get away with employing so many children.
They don't transform in the first episode at all. You see the Blue Stinger Borg in a fantasy right at the beginning. Heather, the love interest of
the comic book shop owner, this 12-year-old comic book shop owner.
She is like the damsel in distress, which is already problematic. And Drew, the Blue Stinger Borg, not yet, but in the fantasy, it's a very confusing timeline, rescues her, and then rescues her from the scabs, which are the putties of the season.
Why did they call them that?
Scabs are union busters. Saban hated unions. That's all I got.
Oh, okay, I got you.
That's my headcanon for it. They do these big like 1960s Batman, onomatopoeia effects over the screen that are
the one like where it was like transitioning between the panels. There was a Goosebumps game called Attack of the Mutant.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what it reminds me of. Like when it tells like like the little very low resolution stories. It has like those little transitions, and when you like pause, it'll have like like a comic book pulled up because you're some like kid on the bus. I don't know. It just doesn't fit for this.
No,
you know what I mean?
And they keep up with that. A lot of the gimmicks in the first few episodes, a lot of shows, they have a bunch of gimmicks in the first few episodes of the first season, and then as they go, they figure out their groove. BeetleBorgs never figured out their groove, but they decided to cut back on certain things. So like the sound effects got cut back on a lot. The comic book panels they leaned into, and gradually by season 2, they'd figured out that kids didn't care about the BeetleBorgs that much, but loved the monsters.
Wait.
Okay,
like it's in Japanese.
so that was Japanese.
Yeah.
Now,
Oh, but it's Nosferatu. Oh, it's a Japanese Nosferatu. Is that Hitler? I think there's a reason why I haven't seen this.
So when they would have like guest appearances, would love the monsters, and they'd run up to Frankenbean and give him a hug and want autographs and everything. And the Beetleborgs would be standing there with just no one in their autograph line because the kids didn't care.
there's actually a note from the producer.
They probably, in hindsight, they probably could have saved a lot of money and just made a monster TV show about kids that finds the monsters.
Hang out in a house with they become friends more or less with the monsters as the show goes on, and that like they become, if there's not a monster of the week from the Magnivores, the main villain,
Then just one of them has like cranky.
one of the monsters is crankier. There's an issue like Wolfgang moves in one episode.
First time Saban used civilian powers, though.
She could do something.
Telekinesis was copywritten.
Did you see that?
They're the Go Busters.
Me and my podcast host, the Beetle Bros, we all thought there was this rumor that floated around Facebook and Reddit and everything that there were originally 2 shows planned by Saban. One was the Monster Show. One was basically VR Trooper Season 3 with the B-Fighter suits.
It's like the...
And that they didn't have the budget. They cut them together.
Right.
It makes sense, right? Like, that's a logical step. No. That was never the plan. We talked to Gabe Torres, who directed 21 episodes of BeetleBorgs, season 1 and 2. And
You mean there's more than 2 episodes?
yeah, there's 88 episodes between 2 seasons. Yeah. It's egregious.
Let's go play chess in this room.
I wonder what's in here. Junk.
So when did you decide BeetleBorgs is going to be my shtick?
Oh, it was a bit of a joke, and then it turned less into a joke, and now it's more of a joke.
Now it's your life. If you guys enjoyed this, we might watch some more episodes. So leave a comment down below. Where can we find you? Where can we see more of your podcast?
So you can find me and my podcast, Big Bad Beetle Bros, at Big Bad Beetle Bros on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We're on pretty much anywhere fine pods are casted, iTunes, Spotify, everything like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks, guys.
Don't worry, we're just warming up. Oh yeah, let's go. Yeah.
Japanese footage, right?